The idea of a single government for all of humanity is not a new one. It has been the dream of philosophers and the ambition of conquerors for millennia. Today, on 2025, in an era defined by interconnected challenges like pandemics, climate change, digital disruption, the question of a one-world government re-emerges with renewed urgency, What would it mean for the United States to cede its sovereignty to a larger global entity? This is not merely a theoretical exercise. It is a profound inquiry into American identity, power, and the future of its citizens. The question forces us to ask whether the problems we face have outgrown the system of nation-states. A one-world government would entail a central authority able to create and enforce laws, regulate economies, and command a planetary military. The most powerful argument in favor of a one-world government is the potential to end large-scale international warfare. For centuries, the global landscape has been scarred by conflicts between nations, territorial disputes, and ideological rivalries. A single global authority, possessing a monopoly on legitimate military force, could theoretically prevent such conflicts from ever occurring again. National armies would be rendered obsolete, replaced by a global peacekeeping force. For the United States, which currently spends nearly $1 trillion annually on defense, this could mean a monumental peace dividend, freeing up vast resources to be invested in education, healthcare, infrastructure, scientific research. Beyond preventing war, a global government could offer a more effective framework for tackling problems that transcend national borders. A world government could enact and enforce binding global regulations on carbon emissions, mandating a transition to renewable energy, and coordinate rapid responses to future pandemics with equitable distribution of medical supplies. The most significant and immediate consequence for the United States in joining a one-world government would be the loss of national sovereignty. Sovereignty is the principle that a nation has the ultimate authority over its own territory, laws, and people. The U.S. Constitution begins with the words, "We the people," signifying that political authority originates from its citizens. Under a world government, this foundational principle would be fundamentally altered. Final authority would no longer rest with the American people or their elected representatives in Washington, D.C., but with a distant, transnational body. The United States would become, in effect, a province or state within a global federation. This loss of self-determination would have tangible effects on American democracy. Decisions on immigration policies, environmental regulations, tax rates, judicial standards could be imposed upon the United States by a global legislature or council. In such a body, the U.S., with roughly 4% of the world's population, would be a numerical minority. Furthermore, the legal and constitutional fabric of the nation would be at risk. The creation of a single global market under a one-world government presents a double-edged sword for the American economy. On one hand, the complete removal of tariffs and trade barriers would, in theory, boost efficiency and lower consumer prices. American corporations could operate seamlessly across the globe, optimizing supply chains, accessing new markets without friction. However, this frictionless world would also mean frictionless competition. American workers, long used to a relatively high-wage economy, would face direct competition from laborers worldwide. This could push wages down in manufacturing, customer service, white-collar professions. A global government would push harmonized regulations and tax policies. That could simplify business operations, but it would strip the U.S. of its economic autonomy. Authority could shift to a global central bank or treasury and a single global currency, ending U.S. dollar dominance. That would remove exchange rate risk, but cost the U.S. its reserve currency privileges and outsized financial influence. The United States is not just a political entity. It is a complex tapestry of cultures, traditions, and values. While often described as a melting pot, it maintains a distinct national character built on shared language, history, and civic ideals. A one-world government, in its quest for unity and efficiency, would pose a significant threat to this cultural distinctiveness. Governing a diverse planet requires standardization, education, law, public life risking global homogenization. Local customs, regional dialects, national holidays could be marginalized. A standardized curriculum might relegate American history, literature, and civics to mere footnotes. If a single administrative language rises, whether English, Mandarin, or a new one, others would diminish in importance. Regional accents and idioms could fade under standardized education and media. Ultimately, the drive for unity could come at the cost of the diversity that makes civilization vibrant. The unique American blend of individualism, entrepreneurial spirit, and community volunteerism might be seen as anomalies to correct rather than strengths to preserve. Perhaps the most potent argument against a one-world government is the terrifying prospect of unchecked centralized power. The English philosopher Thomas Hobbes envisioned a Leviathan, an all-powerful sovereign, to end chaos. A world government would be the ultimate Leviathan. If this global authority became tyrannical, there would be no place to flee, no external power to appeal to. The entire human race would be subject to a single system of control. The founders distrusted concentrated power, creating checks and balances and divided authority. A global government would control the world's most powerful military, the global economy, and information flows. The temptation to suppress dissent, eliminate rivals, and perpetuate rule would be enormous. Democratic accountability would be daunting at planetary scale. Distance breeds apathy and empowers unelected bureaucrats, corporate interests, and charismatic demagogues. The question of the United States joining a one-world government is not a simple choice between utopia and dystopia. It is a complex trade-off between the promise of global unity and security versus the principle of national sovereignty and self-determination. The potential benefits are undeniable: an end to major wars, coordinated action on climate and poverty, and an integrated global economy. However, the costs would be profound: relinquishing sovereignty, diluting citizen power, and subordinating the Constitution to a higher global authority. The risk of a global Leviathan that threatens freedom is immense. A prudent path may strengthen international cooperation, treaties, institutions, task forces, while preserving democratic nation-states and accountability. This approach seeks global benefits while mitigating centralized risks, an evolution, not a revolution. In the final analysis, we must weigh with care what could be gained and what could be irrevocably lost, and choose which future we wish to build.